The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosensia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-wing author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even love and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms and the Mike Wagner Show, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas 24/7 for your family, friends, and loved ones, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, a lot more. Makes great gifts 24/7, 365. And also check out the Me and Mosensia store on Amazon for great books, including Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, all kinds of goodies. Check out Amazon.com/Me and Mosensia. Also support us on Anchor FM as well as PayPal and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you donate generously today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who is a versatile American actor, and he was also an investigative reporter, and he's also a casting director and a volunteer firefighter as we speak here. He's also a producer, and he played Detective J.D. Walker on ID's Discovery Channel's Lieutenant Kenda and Homicide Hunter, and also Tyler Perry's The Have and Have Nots, and began his career as a teenager and spent 14 years as a TV investigative reporter. And we'll talk more about that. And also, he also won some awards as well, too. And he's also got some upcoming projects. We'll talk about those. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City. If he's not fighting fires or if he's not doing investigating, he's out there just making movies and making things happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the very versatile David Schifter. David, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. So you're a versatile American actor, and you've been seen as Detective J.D. Walker on ID Discovery Channel's Lieutenant Kenda, Homicide Hunter, and also Tyler Perry's The Have and Have Nots. And you also began a career as a teenager as host of a New York cable and TV show, Spotlight for Teens, and also you spent 14 years as a TV investigative reporter, and you also won LAindiefilmfest Best Actor Award in 2017, and you also co-star with Michael Paré and Nicholas Turturro in an upcoming film. We'll talk more about that. And not only that, you're also a volunteer firefighter and also a casting director, and you also help cast actors as well in Expedition Bismarck, The Last Summer, and more. And before getting to all that, David, in your amazing career, tell us how you first got started.
I grew up in New York City, an only child, and was always fascinated with the movies. Always wanted to be a cinematographer, actually. I always wanted to be behind the camera. Mm-hmm. But as luck would have it, we got cable TV, I believe, in like the fall of 1979 on Manhattan cable television. And flipping through the channels one Saturday night, I come across a show called The Crank Call Show. It's this guy, Italian-looking guy, who's sitting there taking phone calls of people telling him to go F off. And I it was unheard of. I've never seen anything like it. So after a few mesmerizing weeks of that, I called after the show because I couldn't get through during the show. I called after the show and I spoke with him. His name is John Centrone. We still stay in touch. Mm-hmm. And this is when I was 16, 15 at the time. And he invited me down to the studio, which was in a sketchy building on West 23rd Street in Manhattan. And as it turned out, I ended up working on the show behind the scenes and subsequently got my own show, pitched an idea to the cable company, and they liked it and got a show on called Spotlight on Teens, which was for, by, and about teenagers. And we did everything from celebrity interviews. I had Isai Morales, who was a very well-known Latin actor. I recognized him on the street one time back when I was doing the show. He had just done Bad Boys with Sean Penn, not the Bad Boys that that's more recent, but this is 1980. 1980, I believe. And I stopped him and I said, I recognize you from the movie. Would you like to be on my show? And we became fast friends. We've lost touch, but we still, I still see him now and again. But he came on the show. I've had a number of celebrities. Dick Cavett, who was a well-known, talk show host in the day. Anyway, all through high school for 4 years, I hosted this show. I did a thing on the, ironically, the FDNY on their fire academy. So it's kind of funny. I didn't, sort of take to firefighting a lot sooner. But then I growing up, I went to college and I sort of became a TV news reporter and subsequently an investigative reporter. Worked in cities and stations in everywhere from upstate New York to Bluefield, West Virginia. Fresno, California, Cleveland, Ohio. I worked for CNBC on a show called Steals and Deals that was on early on in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. And then I became a news director, which means I was in charge of the news department and of two stations and ran the thing, hired, fired, was responsible for everything from the news content to the news music that you heard. And it was, and then when I did that job here in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I am now, and there was a big film industry at the time, and I always wanted to be an actor. Mm-hmm. So one day I came home, told my wife I wanted to be an actor. She said, I didn't marry an actor. So that was the beginning of the end of that. And subsequently, I started doing background work because anyone who aspires to be an actor should do extra work. See what it's like on a set and learn from who's doing what. What are people doing? Why are they calling for a 25 or a 50? That's a millimeter of lens. What are they looking for? What are they calling for? What's going on? Who does what? And what, what's a C-stand? What does it mean to Hollywood a shot? You learn these things and then you know how to be on a set. You learn the etiquette. And then I started taking acting classes, and I always had a knack for it, but started taking classes, got headshots, got an agent, and got to work. And subsequently I've been on, I was a recurring character on The Have and Have Nots. I was a television news reporter on that, 6 mm-hmm. episodes, I believe. The ID Discovery show, Lieutenant Kenda Homicide Hunter, I play one of Lieutenant Kenda's, or the actor who plays Lieutenant Kenda. I play one of his partners, J.D. Walker, who was a real detective in back when Lieutenant Kenda was actually on the job.
Wow.
So a lot of films, the roles I end up playing, a lot of TV news reporters. Can you figure that? The military. I've played a couple of serial killers, which is always a good time. Just, cheating husbands. I mean, I've had it all.
Cheating husbands. That's another topic we'll talk about in Investigative. Especially in today's times. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. And then, I got into casting, and because if I wasn't acting, I still wanted to be part of the project, and started a casting company called Hollywood East Casting. And I don't do a lot of it anymore. I do it for my own projects for the most part. Speaking of which, one called The Penthouse, which is a thriller set at the beach, filmed at Carolina Beach, North Carolina, beautiful little coastal tourist town. Michael Paré and Nicholas Turturro are two of the leads. I'm in it. I wrote it and executive produced it. And I wasn't planning on executive producing it, but I just couldn't get anybody to open their wallets to come on board. So I said, screw this. I'm going to do this myself. And I did. And those same people come back and say, hey, you're doing another one. I'd love to be part of that one. Then everyone wants to get on the boat when it's already sailed, But it's out now. Actually, you can see it on Amazon Prime, The Penthouse. It's a thriller. Kind of an interesting Rear Window-esque Hitchcock's old movie, Rear Window. Little bits and pieces of that, but in a more sinister manner. And we just filmed a movie called Black Balsam back in the spring. We shot that up in the mountains of South Carolina. And that is also a creepy movie. It's not a horror movie. It's a psychological thriller where this couple come up and they want to buy a cabin in the woods. So they find this great cabin, great price. The realtor can't wait to unload this finally. Because every time she brings people in, the guy who lives there chases them off. He's in there doing something inappropriate. The place is a mess. No sugar cookies or classical music playing. This guy is just, and we find out why he's like that. Well, you thought he was selling a house. Well, it wasn't his house. It was his mother's house. And when she died, she ordered it sold for various reasons and left him out of the will. So when it gets sold, he goes homeless. So he's trying to delay the inevitable as long as he can. But this couple come in and it hits the fan from there. So it takes place over Christmas, the holidays. So their kids, the couple's kids come up, they're college age kids. And it's, it should, we're looking to get that finished. It's going through sound design right now. We have a picture lock. So we have the running time and an actual movie, but now it's going through the sound elements and everything and the color correction. And it should be released by the end of the year.
And you say by the end of the year, is it in December? Or do you have a particular target date in mind?
Don't know. I don't know yet. We're shopping it right now to distributors. Lionsgate bought the Penthouse. They took the Penthouse for domestic, and BD Films took it for international. They're a subsidiary of Cinetel, and so that's for. In fact. Don't go away. Let me show you something.
We'll be right back, folks, as they say in the TV business. So while you're doing that, David, we're going to take a quick time out here. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, it's time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show on over 30 podcast platforms and themikewagnershow.com. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today. Check our great merchandise at themikewagnershow.com and on amazon.com at The Mike Wagner Show. And check out amazon.com/MediaMolsonzia for great books, merchandise, and more. And support us on Anchor FM, PayPal, also themikewagnershow.com. Make sure you give generously today. And as I say in the TV business, now we are right back with David. So I'm glad you took a time out, which is really great, though. Improv. I love it.
Now this from our sponsors. No, just right behind the computer here is a little DVD shelf with movies and TV shows that I've done. And this is The Penthouse for those who want to check it out. Nicholas Tutero and Michael Paré starring in this thriller set at the beach. It takes place in a beautiful penthouse and on a sailboat. Kind of interesting. Beautiful tourist town. The entire movie shot on this little island. Where I actually live, I said Wilmington, but Wilmington is just over a small bridge from where we are. So I produced that. It's out. We love it. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to also mention, the Black Balsam film. Once we get it sold, I will let you know when it's available, when it comes out and such. So, maybe we can discuss that further at some time.
Sure can. In fact, you talked about December of 21 or something. If you leaped over into January 2022, we can talk more about that. So we got to make that leap first. It's like, go from 21 to 22. I mean, anything can happen. And of course, you've got The Penthouse. You also got Black Balsam. You also been some other movies as well, too. You got, we already talked about The Have and Have Nots, and also Street Justice, The Bronx, and also Virtuous, Nation's Fire, and I'm sure there's more. And tell us about the rest of your films you've been in.
Well, Street Justice, The Bronx is a really interesting project personally for me to work on. It is about the career of a New York City detective who is to this day, this guy worked in the 70s and 80s in New York, in the Bronx, which was very, very rough at the time. And I grew up in New York City in the 80s and such. So, I remember a lot of the cases. This guy, his name is Ralph Friedman, and he's the most decorated detective in New York City history. Wow. He would, they'd send him out for coffee and donuts. He'd come back with a collar, meaning he'd come back with an arrest or something. This guy was no nonsense. And back then, the cops were allowed to be cops. And this guy, he actually will tell you that he shot 8 people in his career, killed 4 of them, all justified.
50%, yes.
Yeah. But and it was all justified because they were shooting at him. But this guy was a badass. He still is. I still keep in touch with him. But anyway, I was cast as a sex crimes sergeant, which would be like the special victims unit today. But it was called sex crimes. And I was a sergeant in New York City precinct back in the, I think we were depicting the 80s. So actually, you can get that show on, I think, Amazon. Might be Amazon. It's a series. And if you want to meet a real badass, this show is really well done. It's only 6 episodes, so it's a limited series show. But this guy was something else. We love Law and Order, of course, and such shows like that. But this was gritty. This was gritty.
It almost sounds like NCIS is pretty much like watered down Mother Teresa and all that. Yeah. Shows like that show these sophisticated labs with these neon lights and really, there's not a police station, not a lab, a forensics lab in the world that looks like anything that you see on television. They're in the dark corner of a basement in a precinct somewhere. That's where they put them. They're overworked and they don't go out and investigate. They're in the lab. They don't make arrests. That's for the detectives and the uniforms to do. So, I'm glad you reminded me of that. I have to remind myself not to be a police officer. It's like, don't quit your day job, they say. So,
listen, I have a lot of respect for law enforcement. A lot of respect. I know a lot of law enforcement over the years as a reporter. A lot of federal agents, a lot of local cops in various cities I've worked. And I ask a lot of police officers today, I say, if you were starting your career today, would you do it again? And only one has said yes. Only one.
Wow.
Which is really unfortunate because we need good cops. We need people in the state. They don't need to dumb down the exams or the physicals or anything. They need to keep them tight and right. But it's just a shame when municipalities aren't taking care of these people. You know,
it also made me think as well too, like with investigative reporters and things it did, like in the 80s and 90s. And would you do that again today in today's society?
Boy, I don't know what happened when I left the industry, but it went to hell. We used to be respected, just like the police were. Reporters were respected and believed and trusted. You know, the Walter Cronkites of the world.
I remember watching Walter Cronkite. He was amazing.
Yeah, you know, they don't exist anymore, and the networks are like pissing at each other, and it's just you never saw that. It was there was a level of respect, and just the kind of reporting I did was very satisfying because I helped people. I enterprised a lot of stories. I got a lot of tips, but I have an Emmy. Actually, it's up on the shelf.
I saw that. Yeah, I forgot to mention you won an Emmy. It's like unbelievable. Yeah, you earned numerous awards and three Emmys. It's like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot to mention it.
And you can't see it, but right in the middle, that wooden square piece, I got Firefighter of the Year at my fire department.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just 1 minute as well too. That getting back to the thing about the reporting, like with the Walter Cronkites. I remember as a kid, watching Walter Cronkite of CBS before eating dinner, well respected. You had Floyd Calber from NBC, Harry Reasoner from ABC, and then McNeil Lehrer from PBS kind of took it to a whole new level. And I just kind of think too that that type of reporting was actually very, very credible. And do you think the fact that social media is causing reporters to be dumbed down or diluted?
I don't know if that's the reason. I don't know what has happened and how. There's always been, an influence by advertisers on local stations primarily because, I mean, the meat and potatoes that run the station are the local car dealers and the local attorneys and the advertising. The local advertising runs a station because a news operation is really, when it comes down to it, it's a money loser. It doesn't make a lot of money, not at the local level anyway. And so, whenever as a news director, whenever I saw a sales manager or something in the newsroom, I threw them out because I knew they were in there trying to get us to cover, some, blowhard opening of a car dealership or something. I didn't want anything to do. It wasn't news to me. It wasn't news. So
unless you got in a car wreck with that particular dealership or somewhere, maybe nowadays they'll stage a car wreck right in front of a dealersip, or try to pitch like a body shop that's connected to a dealership. I mean, you never know.
Yeah. But I was, the stories I covered, the Emmy came from a story I did in Cleveland. It was a series on deadbeat dads, which there are as many deadbeat mothers out there as there are fathers who don't pay child support. And we were going to do sort of an overlook of the problem itself and talk to several mothers. And it turned out we found this one woman with 5 kids, aged like, I think they were like 6 to 18 at the time. And they, one day the husband went to work and never came back, and he established a new life in Flagstaff, Arizona. And, we found him, we tracked him down. We brought the mother and the oldest daughter with us when we found him in Michigan. Wow. And he had warrants for his arrest. So we called the local police in Muskegon, Michigan, and asked them to arrest him for us. And they said, we'd be glad to. And we did it on camera and did the confrontation and everything. But the problem was deeper than just some, scumbag not paying child support. It goes a lot deeper. The child support agency wasn't enforcing the law. They weren't going after him. They knew where he was. They knew every time he skipped. They knew they weren't going after him. So we put them under the thumb as well because they were responsible for it. But I did that story. I did police impersonators. That was an issue in Cleveland where women were getting pulled over by someone with a red light, and it turned out. So what we did was we went to a uniform store. We were able to get a complete Cleveland police uniform, some badges, non-numbered badges, and we even bought the chief's badge. And we sat down with the chief, and we said, take out your badge. He pulls out of a wallet, and he shows me. I said, how long did it take you to earn that badge? He said, 25 years. And I pulled mine out. And he said, where the hell did you get that? I said, we bought it. Like $25, I think it was. Anyway.
$25 and 25 years. How do you like that correlation? Badges. We don't need no stinky badges.
Yeah. But I mean, you can get a Dodge Charger today. Back then it was I don't remember, a Caprice Classic or whatever. You can get a Dodge Charger and, put a light in the window and even mark it with police and I don't recommend it.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, yeah, we always came up with, story ideas like the what ifs. So wonder if this is happening. Somebody called us and said there was a police, like the housing police department in Cleveland had shut down one of their offices in one of the projects, and they left all their documents, all the paperwork, the police files, the names of contacts, and all this stuff was left. And we literally went in there with a couple of interns and had garbage bags filled with documents, reports, police reports, rapes, and all this stuff. And we started contacting some of the people whose paperwork was just mindlessly left, abandoned.
Wow.
And that, caused some lather.
It sounds like there's a lot of problems within the Cleveland City police and everything else.
Listen, there's things happen everywhere. Now, Cleveland, and remember, this was 1996. That was a long time ago. It was just one thing that happened. The Cleveland police, man, I had great sources there. In fact, the police, were willing to talk to us about it and said, this should not have happened, and, vowed to make it right. And they did. So, they work hard for you. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it too. And what was the most dangerous assignment that you ever been on when you're investigative reporting?
Oh gosh, I know I'll think of something better when we finish off tonight here. But I've been shot at. I've been followed home. It always goes back to Cleveland, doesn't it? But when I was in New York, I worked for a news agency, and we were out at a shooting scene, and we came out with the camera and flipped the light on, and that got the attention of the wrong person. Nobody was hit, but it was certainly an S your pants moment. But I had been followed home. So when I worked in television news, my address was the station's address. It didn't come back to my home.
Oh, that was smart. I like that.
You gave me the courtesy of that because I had been followed a few times, and I knew it. I knew I was being followed. So I, did some, maneuvers, but, that was a little bit frightening. We did a story on pharmacists who dip into their own stock. There was, we teamed up with the state pharmacy board in Ohio and did this investigation on pharmacists who are drunk or drugged on the job. They literally, this one guy, we have a video of him going to the back where all his drugs were, and he took a bottle of codeine-based cough syrup, took off the cap, took a good swig, put it back on the shelf, and went back to work helping customers.
Oh my gosh.
He was as drunk as if he was, had been drinking all night. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a kid in a candy store,
Wow.
And he lost his license. He went he was suspended for a while, and then subsequently he did get his license back, which is, so that's a positive ending to that story.
Mm-hmm.
But that happens more often than you know.
And it sounds like it's well, too. We'll talk about your accomplishments and also being a volunteer firefighter and what's coming up for David Schifter. And we'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the multi-talented actor and also investigative reporter David Schifter after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host, and I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with the multi-talented David Schifter here on the Mike Wagner Show, and also producer as well, too. We talked about the upcoming film Blackbalsam, which will be coming out around December, being released January 22, and also currently The Penthouse is on Amazon and other streaming platforms as well, too. And yes, that's right. Show it off proudly. Make sure everybody buys it. And I'm sure that'll get some awards as well, too. I'll give you an award. It's like, great job on that one. And you also won those. Yes, you also won those awards. I'm glad you mentioned that. You also won an award, too, at the LAindiefilmfest for Best Actor in 2017. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I got an audition for a movie that was going to film in Nigeria. And I audition for a lot of things. I do it, forget about it. And, you know, if you hear back, you hear back. But this one thing, you know, I did an audition for a role that was going to film in Nigeria, Africa. And, you know, a couple weeks later, I, you know, get a call from the director. And it's like, oh, wow, okay. Well, anyway, I was offered the role. And then I started doing my research on Nigeria and you know, there's a travel ban, you know, not ban, but a travel warning by our State Department not to go there, and the kidnappings and you know, terrorists. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I getting into? So I really vetted the project, and it's called Idahosa Trails. Idahosa Trails. It hasn't aired in America, been shown in America yet, except at the LA Indie Awards, where it won an award. It is about a journalist, ironically, an American journalist whose career is in shambles. He had put something out that he got screwed on, and it wasn't true, and it sort of ruined his reputation, so he couldn't write an obit anymore. So he goes to Nigeria looking for this story that would redeem him, and it's about a pastor, a preacher, who has godlike abilities this isn't the story. This preacher now my character, Thomas Book is the character's name, is a fictional character, but Benson Idahosa was a Nigerian pastor who died about 20 years ago, and he had the ability to bring people back to life. And this is documented. He brought a 12-year-old girl back to life, not, you know, with CPR, not within minutes of going unconscious. He did it 4 days after they were burying the girl that day, burying her. And they ended up being able to revive. He was able to bring her back with prayer. Actually, her mother, you know, flipped out and, you know, ran down the street and, you know, like, you know, for like a mile, and, you know, couldn't believe what was happening. There was a little boy who was blind. Not only was he blind, he didn't have eyes. His eyes had never opened up here. I guess they were fused shut. He gave him sight. And this is stuff that's actually documented. I looked it up, and it's wow. And while he has passed on, his wife still runs their ministry.
Amazing.
And in Benin, Nigeria. So I flew to Lagos, Nigeria, and I was so afraid of being kidnapped that I carried a little a device in my pocket that was a GPS thing. It had a little SOS button, and if you press it, it would send text messages to people that were prearranged to know that your location. And it would stamp my location, because no one knew where I was going. The only address that I knew in Nigeria was a hotel. And when I landed, I called him, the director from the plane, and he said, "Oh, we had to change your hotel." And
no,
I don't even know the address. No, where am I going? And then, so he said, someone will meet you at the plane right at the door. So the plane door opened. I mean, it was Delta Airlines flew me to Nigeria. The door opened, and there were two uniformed airline representatives or airport representatives who took my luggage. We got through customs, because that's an ordeal. They took me in a car and brought me to the airport offices. Then we changed cars, which I thought was a little unusual, and went to the hotel where I met the director, who I had clearly vetted and found that he was, legitimate. And before I went, and the experience was amazing. Absolutely amazing. That was in June and July of 2017. Then in October, they flew me back over for the premiere, the theatrical premiere. We did. It was in theaters at that point, and the trailers were running. By the time I got there, the trailers were running in theaters, and people were recognizing me, because everyone goes to the movies there. They were recognizing me as the guy in the trailer. Now, so what they were calling me was Oyimbo, which is a Nigerian term for white man. So, white man, I'd host a trailer.
What was the name for a white man Nigerian?
Oyimbo.
Oyimbo. Oyimbo.
Actually, it's Oyimbo. Yeah.
Oyimbo, come here.
But I found the people were amazing. I keep in touch with in fact, the director and I, his name is Stanley Ohikuare, and he and I have written a script. And as soon as things stabilize around the world, we're going back over and we're going to film it there. It's going to film here and there. It's an international piece that we're going to do, a thriller.
Wow. Yeah, that is something. I gotta say that is one heck of an award, and just simply well worth it. And now that you won an Emmy, you also won an LAindiefilmfest award as well too. You also got Firefighter of the Year. That's another prestigious one. And tell us about that.
Let me talk about that. The fact that I'm a firefighter and an EMT is a total fluke. My wife saw something on Facebook that said that the Carolina Beach Fire Department was looking for volunteers. Well, no, she saw it. She thought that it was going to be some, like you come a couple of times, like a citizens academy, learn about the fire service, get a certificate, ride a fire truck, maybe flow some water on a hose, and go home. Mm-hmm. Well, a couple weeks later, as I'm going back, they started, having me fill out paperwork, and it ended up anyway. Today I'm actually an employee. I'm actually a part-time firefighter. And,
nice.
So that's so it is the most rewarding thing I've ever done. I used to say that investigative reporting was, because it was helping people. I can say this is beyond that. Wow. And I love acting, and I love film. I love making movies, but it doesn't satisfy the need to help people. And,
yes.
Like this morning, 5:00, the tones went off. I was overnight. I was a 24-hour shift, and, an hour and a half before I would have woken up anyway, we get banged out to a medical CPR incident. And, a woman in her 70s, unfortunately we couldn't save her. But, it could be that. It could be a lift assist. It might be just something where you're lifting someone, helping them back onto their bed. It might be a fire. When we have fires, they're big. And it could be, just a medical. We live at the ocean. So it could be a rescue, an ocean rescue, a drowning, or potential drowning. Wow. We do it all. The fire department is who you call when you don't know who to call. Mm-hmm. The police sometimes call us, and there's a friendly rift between the police and firefighters everywhere.
A friendly gift. Instead, call Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call?
That's right. Well, there have been stories of police departments leaving signs on firehouses saying, "Shh, firemen sleeping," things like that. Well, it goes both ways.
and of course, you can always give them coffee and donuts, but give them like a double chocolate, or add coconut or something, or maybe put some motor oil, like a little joke or something. It's like, or a little latte. I'm joking.
Well, firehouse humor, it never stops. There's always, you're always ragging on the guys, and they're getting you, and they you might come in and they've done something, and you can't figure it out right away, but it's all in good faith. And you never mess with somebody's gear, their helmet and turnout gear. You never mess with their air packs or mask. You don't do that. But it's everything else is fair game. But when those tones go off, it's all business. And,
there you go. And of course, the fact that, you've done some amazing things, David. That's why you're so versatile. So we're here with the multi-talented David Schifter here on the Mike Wagner Show with the upcoming movie Black Balsam, and also currently at the Penthouse on DVD as well, too. And just a few more things, David. What else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, David?
Well, we have Black Balsam coming out, and right now we have a hot script. We have two hot scripts. One takes place in a bank. 90% of it takes place in a bank in a standoff with police. Mm-hmm. And it's not your typical bank robbery movie. It's not a bank robbery movie at all. Wow. But it's very interesting. It's something different and new, and we're doing things that haven't been done in the movies yet. So we're actually looking for additional executive producers to come on board as investors. If you know anybody, or if anybody who watches your podcast is interested in exploring, an interesting script, get in touch. There's another story that about a couple whose marriage is on the
the rocks. Yes,
it's not going real well, and they're giving it another try. But when the husband finds an old photo album, things change drastically for the couple. And so there's a little tease for you. But these two films, we're going to do them back to back, either here in North Carolina or in Atlanta. Most likely Georgia. It'll most likely be Georgia.
Mm-hmm. And that's the hotspot lately for all the films these days is Georgia.
It is. North Carolina is back, though. We're back on the map as well. We have I think there are 5 current projects shooting in the Wilmington area.
Wow.
A couple from Netflix. There's a Hallmark Christmas movie that just wrapped. In fact, I worked on one of the Netflix shows last week, and guess what I played? A firefighter.
Ooh, I was going to say investigative reporter, but you beat me to it.
When I first started acting, the only roles I could get were reporter. It was like, gosh, I could have stayed as a reporter instead of playing one on TV. But it's okay. I enjoy it,
Oh my gosh.
It's life is beautiful. Life is great. And, I try to do something every day to enjoy it. I not no milestones today, but advance the edit of the movie, with my crew, my team. Mm-hmm. It's never too late to be what you might have been. And it would have been great to, think about firefighting as a career, 30 years ago. Here I'm like the oldest one. I'm running upstairs with 22-year-olds.
And of course, leading by example, which is good as well too. You got to teach those young ones, they say. So
hey, look, they teach me sometimes.
That too, yes, it goes either way. You all work together. That's amazing.
and it really is. It's a team.
It's amazing. I love what you do. Yes. And who do you consider biggest influence in the career, David?
As an actor, the actor that I would love to work with, and unfortunately he's retired now, and it's Jack Nicholson. I've always admired Jack. I've always wanted to work with Dustin Hoffman, though, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
When they were filming Kramer versus Kramer, 1978, I believe, he had just finished Marathon Man. That's how I knew him, from Marathon Man, which was a great movie. Laurence Olivier, Dustin Hoffman, Selma Roy Scheider. But when I saw him, they were filming a scene right across the street from my Catholic school that I went to.
Oh, wow.
And I was in 6th grade. And after school, they had obviously were on a break, and Mr. Hoffman was standing outside the restaurant they were filming. And I went up to him. I said, Mr. Hoffman, can I have your autograph? He looked at me, and I'm busy. And that turned me off. It turned me off. You know what he was busy doing? And I point this out to everybody.
What was he doing?
He was picking his nose.
Was he trying to pick a winner or get some diamonds?
Well, you know. But I've always wanted to meet the guy. And I'd say, and tell him, listen, you don't remember this, but when you were filming Kramer versus Kramer, I was a little sixth grader who came up to you in a white shirt and a blue tie and parochial jacket and for the school uniform, and I wanted your autograph. You didn't give it to me. Can I have it now? And I'll get it now, and then I would tell him the story about the rest of the story.
And the rest of the story.
Oh gosh, I remember him. But so my firefighting brothers and sisters, I would say, are a big influence because everything I know I learned in the academy, of course, but on the job. Really, what you learn in the academy, you put that book away, and now you do it for real. It's you can learn the mechanics, but you learn the tricks. And
that's very true. You got to have real life experience in order to make that happen. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Based on about what?
Anything in general. Yeah. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point in general?
Stay low and crawl in a fire. If you want to be an actor, get on a set. Get on sets and be an extra. Don't be afraid to just be one of 100 in a scene today. But be smart. Don't get into the gossip on set. Don't sit there sleeping. Learn, watch what's going on. And when they come, when an AD, an assistant director, comes and says, "Hey, we're looking for 3 people," your hand goes up first, and they'll likely pick you.
Wow!
Because there are a lot of extras who have been upgraded to principals, and that means going from $80 for a 8-hour minimum day to a SAG rate of about 1,000. So if you get a line, and it happens, if you get a line, in fact, Iron Man 3, there was an extra who they picked out of the group, the pool of extras, to be on the floor, cowering as Tony Stark was looking down at him and becoming Iron Man. And he looks down and says, "Hey," and the guy looks up and says, "Hey." That earned that guy. That earned him, I can't, tens of thousands of dollars because of residuals and such now.
Wow. And all he said was, "Hey," and he got like $1,000 in residuals. And that's all he said was, "Hey."
That was it.
Wow. I might have to do something like that. We encourage everybody. You want to be an extra, just say, "Hey, you got your money right there."
Well, and on the same line, not every extra becomes a principal, but you learn the mechanics. You learn how to be set etiquette. There are things that you want to do, and there are certainly things you don't want to do on a set. And then if you're serious about acting and you still got the bug, go ahead and get a good, reputable acting coach. And if you're living in a city like LA, there are lots of them. There are lots of bad ones too, so be careful. There are plenty of, New York, of course, Chicago, the big city, Georgia, a great place to be as an actor. A lot of LA actors have moved to Georgia, for new opportunities. Like they used to move to Wilmington, North Carolina, for the same reason.
Right. Yes.
Get your experience, then get good headshots, and then get a good agent. I'll give you one line on agents. if they require you to sign a contract that makes you pay them a monthly fee for them representing you, rip it up and walk away, run away. Agents make their money when they get you a job. So it's a partnership. You've got to go on those auditions and you've got to nail them. Then the agent will take a 10% to 20% cut of that, depending on the project. That's how they make their money. So they want to hire good people. So be well trained, and never stop training, never stop learning.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very excellent point. I am so going to do that on this day as well. Once again, we're with the multi-talented actor, director, and firefighter extraordinaire, award-winning David Schifter here on the Mike Wagner Show, as well as investigative reporter. David, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. And make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch. And one more thing before we go, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact, where can people purchase or check out your works?
Well, yeah, if you want to, I do have a website. It's davidschifter.com, SCHIFTER. IMDb is the best place to look me up, David Schifter. Remember that C before the H. And you can see my credits there. And if you want to get hold of me, my email address is actually on IMDb. If you're serious, if you're interested in actually coming on board as a producer or hearing more about the projects that I've got. Look, I already have the track record of distribution. Our movies get sold. They get sold, but we have to get the money to get made. It's just the horrible circle of the life of a producer. We have to find the financing for it. And that's always a challenge at times. The money's coming in from other sources, but we need a little more to pull in an actor that we're looking at right now. Mm-hmm. So,
and also, once again, the Penthouse, where can people check that out at?
Amazon Prime. You can even buy it. They sell them at, I don't know if they're still in stock, at Walmart. And you can get it on Amazon as well if you look up the Penthouse under movies. Now, there's something else called the Penthouse, which is not the same. So.
No, not the Larry Flint style. Look
for that picture.
And also blackbalsam, that's coming up when again?
Well, we're still in post-production, so we're still finalizing sound and the color correction. But once that's done, they'll roll that out soon. They'll roll that out quick. I'm hoping by year's end, But sometimes the distributor will hold the movie and release it on a certain date for strategic reasons,
right?
And you don't have any control over that, really.
Okay, we're certainly looking forward to it. As soon as that comes out, we'd love to have you back on. Once again, David, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch, and looking forward to having you on again. And we wish you the very, very best. You've been totally amazing.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me in, Mike.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamosenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.